Hello and welcome to Sport for Business. We are joined today by Leanne Sheill. She's the marketing manager and sponsorship for SSE Airtricity, and the brand has been involved with Irish football for a long time. Things have changed quite dramatically over the last 18 months. So we're here to talk about that. You're very welcome back to Sport for Business, Leanne.
Thanks a million, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Tell me something. A common goal was the initiative that you kicked off earlier on this summer, which really struck me as a cool way of a brand being authentic and getting involved with the with the sport that you're sponsoring in terms of football. Tell us a little bit about it and how it came about.
Yeah, so I suppose to take you back from the very start, we put a lot of work into research before a good few months before we launched the campaign. So we spoke to a range of stakeholders from fans, from players, from club officials, even media, to really kind of delve into what the league really meant. And there was one theme from that side of research that kept coming back, and that was the word community. Community really came back. Some people thought that community was the heart of the league, which it is, and other people thought that it just hasn't been exploited as much as it could be yet. It was a really kind of untapped area to kind of delve into. So that was one side. And then on another side, from our own sustainability research that we do as a renewable energy company, we know that climate change is as important now as it ever was. 95% of people still believe that in 2021 it's a huge priority for us. And everybody wants to do their part, but some people just don't know how. So it was about breaking it down into those small pieces that collectively make a big difference. So bringing that research forward, then we looked at the brand truths. So when we look at the league, they believe that they have a league that's based in community like no other. And then we look at SSE's truth, which is harnessing renewable energy for the collective good. So when we look at a shared purpose, then it's about bringing everybody in together, focusing in on community, and then using sustainability for that content piece to really drive it forward for a better future then for everybody. So that's the kind of research piece that we did. So we decided then to break the campaign up into two parts to make sure that we included everybody. So one part was the club's sustainability platform as part of a common goal, that it was closed off to the clubs and we work with them on the initiatives. And then the second part was to make sure that we brought the players and the fans along on the journey as well. So we recruited 6 player ambassadors from the Premier First and Women's National League, and we created an online platform where they were our sustainability heroes. They created weekly content from Grow Your Own, from sustainable transport, all of that. So basically, bringing the players to create the sustainability content, then to inspire change, then for the fans to come along on that journey as well.
They're very cool. Like they're real bite-sized slices of life, but you can get the enthusiasm of the players in terms of the growing your own, especially, sort of from seed to plant to table. It's a really clever way of linking those truths of the business and the sport as well. How did the players and the clubs kind of buy into it in the first place? Did it need a little bit of persuasion on your part, or did they just get it straight away?
No, I think, sustainability is not the first thing you think of when you think of, the league. It's definitely not. And especially, in the last 2 years when, there was huge struggles there, they couldn't play live matches, they couldn't get the audiences in there. So we knew that it wasn't going to be the easiest kind of campaign to work on, but we really needed to get them on board, because for the campaign to be successful, you need the players, the clubs, all the fans on board to really believe in the campaign and what you're trying to do. But I have to say it was very positive. We presented it to the club, and I suppose we presented on what we really wanted to achieve first. So what we wanted to achieve was to reduce their carbon footprint, kind of for a better future. We wanted to give them tips and advice from SSE, from right across the business, from, you know, our experts, to really help them do that. We wanted to give them PR opportunities and more content so that they could tap into new audiences that they've never tapped into before. And then we obviously offered then the sustainability grant for them to help them to do that. And then at the end, there'd be whoever makes the most progress. So it's not about resource necessarily, it's about actually from start to finish, who makes the most progress then would be awarded with the retrofit of 25,000 euros, which would probably be a solar installation. So when we kind of explained that, you know, the reasoning behind it, we want to give them more really rich content to kind of tap into. It was very positive. It was really positive. And that was the club side. And when we recruited our player ambassadors as well, they're coming back to us with their own ideas of content. You know, we give them each team the theme for each month, and they come back to us then with the type of content then they want to get. And it was very creative, and it still is, you know, kind of going forward as well.
They have really gotten into it. What have been like some of the highlights of the things in terms of the sharing? Because, you know, the clubs themselves have got a significant social media following out there. We always report at the beginning of each season on just the sheer size and scale of that, and the hope and the belief that if you could reach into that and bring those fans into the stadium, it would be great. So big audience, and they've been sharing this in their in their hundreds and their thousands. What have been highlights from your point of view?
Yeah, I think there's one highlight that sticks out to me in particular, which was a couple of weeks ago with Sligo Rovers, actually. So Sligo Rovers created a team of people to actually go out and do a litter pickup, basically, in Sligo. It was only a few weeks ago. So when you see kind of stuff coming together like that based on the theme and, you know, the platform that we've provided, I think that's, you know, when you kind of say, God, we're actually doing something really, you know, positive here. Another one was the Grow Your Own with the player ambassadors. So they went completely above and beyond. They had full, you know, nearly just a step away from nearly having their own greenhouses, you know, growing lettuce and things like that as well. So they went kind of above and beyond, and then they used containers that they already had. So they were recycling, you know, they didn't have to go out and purchase kind of new materials. They were actually using everything that they already had. So yeah, I think they were kind of two highlights that I would talk about.
It's great. We often talk about, you know, organic material and content that's growing on us, ironically, and given that we're talking about sustainability now, but the brand enabling that organic thing to grow has kind of felt pretty natural. So I'm sure that's been a good win for the business as well. You mentioned there about the 25,000 and that prize for the one club. So it's one of the clubs from each of the three divisions that will do it. As you said, it's like the most improved player kind of award for the clubs as well. But what's the time frame that you're going to be measuring that, and, you know, what are some of the things that you'll be looking for? Have they spoken to you about some of the projects, or is this completely being driven from themselves at a club level?
So in terms of the retrofit, how we kind of managed it, so on the club's platform, there's a theme each month that they're encouraged to follow along, and we give lots of tips and advice for them to do that. And at the end of each month, they submit their survey with, you know, images and everything that they've done answering the questions. And then we have an independent judging panel then who actually award them points based on that. So you can kind of get, you know, maximum is 10, or they could get 5 points, either depending on the activities that they've done. So it's the points scoring that would determine who would be, you know, the winner at the end. So everybody is on, you know, starts off on a playing level, no matter kind of what they've done. So that makes it fair then for the most, you know, progress, I suppose, that they have done. And then the end of the season is when the campaign actually ends then as well. So at the end of October, we would do our evaluation then in November to award the club with the retrofit. And as I mentioned before, it would probably be a kind of a solar retrofit, which would make sense with a battery storage as well. So depending on the club, it could save them 30 to 40% on their bills each year, which is a quite substantial amount that they would be able to put money then into other activities going on in the club. Absolutely.
And that's, pure sustainability. Like, that's going to be there, that saving for months, years into the future. So it's a real genuine kick into it. The season itself has actually been a really good one this year. You had a number of different clubs in contention for the championship. Maybe Rovers are pulling away a little bit now, but you've still got Sligo battling there for Europe. European performance of each of the teams that qualified has also been really good in terms of lifting the profile of the league. Because you went back in again this year, it was a renewal and you expanded it out to the Women's National League. How do you feel it has gone from your perspective as a sponsor?
Yeah, I think it's a challenging, it's been a challenging year or two. It definitely has. But I think focusing on the positives for us and what was created on the back, of everything. Like, we have an LOI TV streaming platform that was never there before, where people can watch all of the Premier, First Division, and for the first time ever, and they can stream it for free, the Women's National Leagues, which is a huge, huge positive. I think everybody wants to get on TV more. Obviously, that's, what they want to do. But I think having the platform LOI TV allows us to create a lot more content where we'd be able to track, engage, and engage with people a lot more as well. So, for example, we can do bespoke, a common goal, kind of advertisements on the page. We created our very own league content hub on our platform as well, that hosts all of the player of the months for the men, all the player of the months for the women, and all of the other content with a common goal as well. So it gives us the option to promote, to kind of engage with a lot more content than we've kind of done previously on that as well. And the season is not over yet. Live matches will return, and there's definitely more positive news to come as well further down the line.
It has been a great year, and a common goal has been one of those sponsorship or partnership highlights of the summer as well. So congratulations on that. Now it's all gone. I need to go off now and tend to my own grow your own garden outside. But for the moment anyway, until we come back to talk about the winners of the eventual competition at the end of the season, Leanne, Sheill from SSE Airtricity, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rob.